Buckeye Talk coming to you from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. We just talked to Coach Ryan Day. We just talked to Larry Johnson. I'm Nathan Baird from cleveland.com, along with Stephen Means and Doug Lesmerises. We're finding out, getting some more reaction from the Akron game, from the Tulsa game, looking ahead to Akron. One of the big concerns, obviously, right now is the quarterback situation. How hurt is C.J. Stroud? What's going on with the sore shoulder? And more to the point, in a game where you've got a 49-point spread as of Tuesday afternoon, we're recording this, seems like the great opportunity to play some other quarterbacks. Ryan Day not really committing to that yet. I thought there was a lot of conversation today about why C.J. Stroud is the starter and why he needs to keep playing. Ryan Day looking for better continuity in the offense, getting some more development there with C.J. Stroud. Also, though, does admit that his sore shoulder causes some problems this week as far as how you manage that and how you still get those reps to keep developing as an offense. I guess, Doug, just what did you take away from the way Ryan Day talked about C.J. Stroud, maybe relative to the other quarterbacks today?
I don't know, because I feel like at some point he made it sound like C.J. Stroud might not play because of his shoulder. Then he made it sound like the backups might not play because C.J. Stroud needs reps in the system. And then that would mean they play without a quarterback, which I don't think is the plan.
I doubt it.
So it's very confusing. And I tried to lay it out at the end in a question that sort of wrapped up all the things that he said, which is sort of that. New guy, kind of injured, talented. Backups are also talented, but he needs reps. And he was like, yeah. So I don't know what else to say. The only thing we got is, and I promised everybody, if you listen to Buckeye Talk podcast, I promised that I would ask about Quinn Ewers today, and I did. And the answer on Quinn Ewers was like, ooh, he's not anywhere close to playing. That's the one thing that Ryan Day made clear. He also made it clear C.J. Stroud is better in practice in Ryan Day's eyes. And so he's like, you guys don't see practice. We see it. That's why he won the job. If you want to play, be better in practice, which was also said about other players on the team. But for all of us who don't see practice because they don't let us in, keep that in mind. In their opinion, it's not close. It seems like in practice, C.J. Stroud is clearly the best quarterback there.
I do think that was maybe an important thing for Ryan Day to say. Not that he necessarily has to manage the PR and us and all that stuff, but we've seen slivers of them together, the quarterbacks together. We saw the spring game where Stroud and McCord both played pretty well, and we just see little glimpses, pockets here and there, but we don't get to see a lot of scrimmage things for us to grade and comparing them side by side. And we haven't seen Kyle McCord or Jack Miller play at all this fall. What did you take away from that, Stephen? The fact that he was kind of maybe trying to explain to people that this is a decision that gets reinforced each week when he sees C.J. Stroud compete again with these other guys.
I think the big takeaway is he doesn't even want to go down the road of giving that guy a chance. In a real situation, not when the game is decided in the second half, because I straight up went. Is there any idea to second quarter, first series, regardless of how CJ's playing, you throw Kyle or Jack out there just to get them a real in-game snap? And he's just like, no, I'm not going down that road. I don't want to go down that road. We've seen other programs do it. Clemson did it last year with DJ Uiagalelei. He didn't even want to do that. So it's clearly he's picked this guy, and he's going to stick with that guy until they shows him otherwise. And that's not just what happens on game day. That happens in the 4 or 5 days of practice as well, whether we agree with it or not.
Doug, you do mention one thing, that when he was asked, is there a chance that C.J. Stroud won't play this week, he didn't dismiss that. He said that's something we'll monitor over the course of the week and see how he's feeling. And I thought that was a fairly big thing for him to say. He's not necessarily putting it out there that he's questionable or doubtful or anything like that, but definitely leaving the door open. And then I think that's what leads to an interesting discussion, because then the other quarterbacks play, and if they look really good against Akron, which they should, again, 49-point spread, then does it create a problem going into Rutgers from what we were talking about before, the kind of the PR side of things, the managing fans' perception side of things? Or can you pretty easily just say, hey, that was Akron, C.J. Stroud won that job fair and square, and it's his job again when he's healthy the next week?
No, I don't think you can. I don't think it'd be like, Kyle McCord, 412 yards versus Akron. That didn't count, right? I don't think you could do that. But again, if it is a problem, and I think Ryan Day would argue it's not, but if it is, it's of their own making because they have too many good quarterbacks. So I don't know. Like I said, DJ Uiagalelei is not having a great year at Clemson, but nobody's asking if anybody else is going to play because they don't have anybody else to play. Ohio State has like 4+ star quarterbacks in this room. So shoulder is one thing. Growing pains is a phrase that Ryan Day used, that if this is normal, you go through growing pains with a quarterback to get to the other side of it. But how long can those growing pains last, right? When you have other people in the room. And so I do think it is very complicated, but Stephen was making this point earlier. When you're an athlete and you're hurt, if you're not playing great because you're hurt, you kind of want to keep playing to prove yourself, but you probably don't have as much of a chance to look great because you're hurt. It's a very complicated situation with CJ. I think it's very possible the best thing for him would be to sit this week. I really do think that's possible. Let him get as healthy as possible so the next time CJ's on the field, he can put his best foot forward, which maybe he hasn't had the chance to do because he's going like this all the time.
I think that's a fair point, that if another week of maybe underwhelming performance because of that the shoulder contributes to doesn't help him, it doesn't necessarily really help Ohio State in the long run. Get the text 614-350-3315, 2-week free trial, then $3.99 a month. We'll be bringing you more of what we hear from Ohio State and the quarterback situation all week from Buckeye Talk.